what makes the Neurozone assessment different to other psychometric assessments that you've used and are still using?
Thanks, Jani. I think the first thing for me that drew me to the Neurozone Personal Assessment is the fact that it actually combines two assessments in one, if you think about it. The one is this peer measure of resilience, psychological resilience, as Etienne has explained it, and it's come from a very rigorous literature review and a conceptualization of resilience. So as a psychologist, I could relate to that as, that's how I know resilience. And it was broadened to include lower income populations as well. So it's not just, people who can be resilient because they have access to resources. But so on the one hand, it's this pure measure of resilience, if I can say, as we know it. But then it also measures the neurobehaviors that Etienne has referred to, these research that has gone into what are these things we need to do to optimize our brain-body system so that we can get to that baseline relaxed physiological state. And those behaviors, the framework around it, the 59 behaviors that is currently in the framework, really spans behaviors that we as psychologists and coaches and people development people know to be the right things to do. We have the rhythms domain, that talks about sleeping, eating, mindfulness, nutrition, things like that. Then it talks about connector behavior. So those are all about your belonging and your trust at work and at home with friends and family. So it's almost your EQ kind of domain, the interpersonal behaviors that's important. There's the energy domain that's about, how we look at the world, what are the types of emotions we experience, do we practice things like gratitude and like forgiveness. And then there's the transformers domain that talks about your mindset and how you look at things. What are the filters that you use to filter information so that you can stay in touch with reality best. And then lastly, there's the innovators domain, which talks about or which specifies some behaviors about how we solve problems. So if you think about the breadth of that framework, it really encapsulated a lot of good behaviors and habits that we as people need to practice. The Neurozone system links it then to brain-body optimization, which gives a very nice holistic framework. And then it links it to this really what we call the bedrock of well-being, resilience, from a psychological perspective. And that just made so much sense to me to say, how can we practically change certain behaviors to move the dial up on our resilience? And what is great about the assessment itself, it doesn't just give you the 59 behaviors and tell you this is what's good and this is what's not so good. It actually ranks it for you in what are you currently doing well that is building your resilience. So keep on doing it and keep at it. But then it ranks the top 6 behaviors for you about what will build your resilience.